Now, it's generally no surprise that I am a loud and proud Warden main, but the things I've been loud about haven't been very positive about my hero. Obviously, to really lay it on thick, Warden just relies on bashing their opponent to death, like how I bash my fridge when I don't see that there's beers in it. Anything else that a Warden can try is practically slapping a parry me sign on my face. So this goes down the hill of I'm an asshole if I'm just bashing people to death, but if I'm gonna try to do anything else, I'm gonna lose. So this is where I had a mental battle on how to cover Warden. But then I realized, oh yeah, I'm a YouTuber, right? And decided to do what I normally do when I can't decide. Ask the thousands of people who watch my videos how they felt about Warden. And honestly, to my surprise, a vast majority said that they actually respected Warden and people who played them. And I'm glad, because I don't really think my ego could have taken being called a boring loser. The best part about this video is the hundreds of fucking hours I put into this hero, so I know everything and anything about this hero. From day 1 to 2024, I've lived through every single meta Warden has had. If you were to truly ask me what I think makes Warden so enjoyable for everyone who plays him, is that Warden just has no face. Sure, okay, he's got those horrid helmets that have a face, but I don't count those. See, when you have a faceless character, that person you're playing is you. The best example of this is Halo Reach. You play as Noble 6, a faceless Spartan who has barely any lines, but any customization you make to your character will show up in the campaign. This really sells and gives to the player the impersonation that this character is you. Warden embodies that perfectly. The helmets Warden has all have special ties to the people using them. Let's use 2 examples, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but me and Havoc. See, I don't know if it's my ego or mental instability, but while looking at my white Warden, it really does make me feel like I'm looking in a mirror. And whenever anyone sees the Magirna helm, the first thought they think is Havoc's Punisher Warden. This is what I mean by Warden's customization holds personality. I've never felt this on any other hero other than Warden. Let's even go look at the campaign. The first ever hero anyone was introduced to was Warden, a man with true morals and feelings. I'd like to go look at 3 scenes of the campaign. First one is where Apollyon, his warlord, had executed surrendering troops. His first action was to draw weapons against her and defend the weak people, showing that he understood wrong from right. The second scene is when he was about to kill Goodmunder. He could have just killed him instantly, but showed honor by throwing his weapon to him. And the last one is talking to Mercy, because he knew what he was doing was wrong, and all that just embodies something someone would say was a respectful person. What makes people think Warden is such a badass is his overall physicality and the way he moves himself. See, there's a reason the edge walk exists, and it's because of Warden. There's something about how Warden slowly walks that just gives him an aura that can either make people go, damn, he looks sick, or damn, you're in a crybaby edge boy. Point is, walking with him makes you feel something that no other character has. Other things that make people really love Warden is the simplicity of him. He's a big guy with very little yet punchy voice lines, one of the most loved weapons to ever exist in melee combat, and overall just not being a very good hero. Now in duels, Warden can be the best hero if his bash is utilized the entire time, because it's unreactable in the offensive term. But many Warden mains, and I mean true Warden mains, choose to stay away from playing like this unless absolutely necessary. This is probably the first reason why people truly do respect Warden mains, is that they actually care about the fun the enemy is having. There are very many heroes and very many people in this game that play these heroes for the sole reason of just winning, and that can normally mean playing like pricks, but Warden mains are never like this. Almost every single Warden main I have ever played with or interacted with has been one of the nicest people in the community. As I mentioned, Havoc is a perfect example because he is always an upbeat and positive person who respects his opponents and takes all of his losses on the chin. The other person that comes to mind, and I'm lucky to call him a friend, is Mercenary James. I've known this man for years, and there have been plenty of times where we don't play together, but I know every time we do, he's going to be always a ray of sunshine. I did mention how Warden was the best duelist in the game, but I'd like to ask many duel players, how often do you see and match against a Warden in duels, in compared to, let's say, a Shaolin, a Fira, or a Shigoki? All of these heroes I just mentioned apparently are way worse than Warden in duels, but all have staggering playtime compared to them. No, where you find all the true Warden mains is in Dominion. To truly play Warden Dominion is already a respectable action enough, because if you truly want to have a better experience, you would just play Warmonger. Better team play, dodge attack unblockable, feint undodgeable gap closer, bleed damage, feats. The list goes on and on and on why Warmonger is just a better Warden in Dominion. As I said, Warden mains tried Warmonger, maybe put about 20 reps into her, but just couldn't do it. She bored Warden mains with the simplicity of it. They just realized that they can either win with Warmonger for free, or they can work their ass off and earn their wins with Warden. See, the Warden main is the equivalent to the working man who provides for his family, but instead of providing for his family, they're punching and beheading people. Losing to a Warden may sometimes feel cheesy, but eventually you'll realize, okay, yeah, maybe he just played better than me and he deserved the kill. Now when you die to heroes like Pirate or Ocelotl, the last thing you're thinking is, man, what a respectable person, he truly earned that kill. No. What you're saying after you die to these heroes is, Normally heroes would be once in their life completely overpowered or broken, but no, this was just never the case for Warden. Okay, I'm lying. There was a brief moment at the time where Warden was outright despicable to go against because he had a bug that allowed him to instantly kill people with drop attack. Now I know what you're saying. Didn't every hero have an ability to kill with drop attack? Well, yeah, they do, but none of them were able to do it on a fucking guard break and, you know, kill you. Obviously, okay, this was fixed after this, then Warden wasn't very troubling to people. Warden's gone through many changes, like finally getting an unblockable, but Warden is almost a complete reflection of his counterpart on release. Everything was always revolving around Warden's bashes, whether it be how bash worked, how he could bash. Warden's gone through so many changes and it's all been through his bash. Let's start off with the first ever meta Warden had, the vortex. Now, I know half of you just smiled and laughing while hearing get him in the vortex in your head, and the other half of you are saying, what drugs are you taking? See, Warden Day 1 had a basic mix-up of level 1 bash or level 1 bash soft feint to guard break. And back then, Warden didn't have the ability to bash after any heavy attacks, only light attacks. So what Warden mains would do is skip out on damage from the heavy attacks after guard break and use light attacks after guard break instantly to go back into the bash. After Ubisoft changed Warden to allow him to bash after every heavy attack, they took away his soft feint. They also had to look at other things that made Warden's playstyle not very respectable as it is today, and that was ability to back dodge in shoulder bash. This was the safest move in the game when it existed because it allowed Wardens to safely back away from any encounter and then instantly retaliate with bashes. Most fights with a Warden would be him backpedaling, waiting for the perfect time to strike, playing scared to only let a level 3 bash fly at every single mistake their opponent made. If there's something Warden had and still has is his massive amounts of damage, and any mistake you made against the Warden, you would feel it. When all the Warden was doing was just fishing for snakes, it just did not feel very fun. Finally, the community's prayers were answered, and he lost the ability to backdodge shoulder bash, and in return, they gave him a really shitty unblockable finisher. Today, Warden's unblockable is a real threat, but back then, it had no tracking whatsoever, and throwing a top-heavy unblockable was basically dodgeable at any time, and it wouldn't track unless the person backdodged it. But there was no real reason to ever backdodge a Warden back then. Nowadays, as I said, Warden does truly need to earn his kills and all of his wins, and it's shown so much by all the new Warden encounters the game has. Without looking at the list of heroes, there are many that I look at and say, I can't do anything. So here it goes. Shinobi, JJ, Nabushi, Shaolin, Ocelot, Afira, Orochi, Pirate, Blackbriar. Some, but not all heroes that have tools to extinguish Warden's best move, his bash. This gives Warden mains the true feeling of I won because I played better. Speaking from experience as a Warden main, I know that sometimes my character can be very frustrating, but you have to realize that really this character just doesn't have anything good on it whatsoever. If you truly do think Warden is super overpowered, I beg you, put 10 reps into him and just be in my shoes for a day. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and thank you all for watching. We're gonna have sex tonight after that one.
Right there.